Hello, Back Talkers.
And welcome to another episode.
We have a great show lined up for you today. Today we're going to be chatting about...
Governments are not as prepared as you think.
People love toilet paper, flour, yeast, pasta, and hand sanitizer.
Not all mixed up together, I hope.
It all comes out together.
Oh! Companies...
Flush.
That was a little too graphic. Companies are operating paycheck to paycheck, and then 7 other things you won't believe. And stick around till the end, too, because we'll be playing...
Dance Man. So stay tuned. Talkers, I'm André.
And I'm John.
and you're watching Back Talk, the show that'll make you think,
laugh,
and realize that you're not as crazy as some folks out there.
Because of the 10 things we learned after spending the last month in lockdown.
What the hell did you just say?
You want me to say the whole thing again?
Hell yes.
Because of the 10 things we learned after spending 1 month in lockdown.
Oh gosh. But first, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment below, and hit that notification bell to be notified of new videos that come your way.
And please share with like-minded friends and family.
Our featured product of the day is the Mr. Franklin Timer Back Talk Quarantine Tea.
It's a quarantine. Get it? Available at teespring.com.
This classic tea is new and a must-have for true back talkers in quarantine.
And when wearing it, you can bring some sass and attitude to your back talk.
Especially when you're conducting Zoom meetings. So be sure to get your Mr. Franklin Timer Back Talk Quarantine Tea. Available now. So get yours today. But now, let's jump into the hot seat.
I'm getting back from you is lip flap and back talk.
Welcome to another hot seat. So what's going on, Johnny-O?
So, governments are not as prepared as we thought. And in some cases, it's not surprising. You think of, the U.S. really should have been more prepared. And they weren't. And some of those things, could have been foreseen. But what's really surprising, I think, are countries like Japan and Sweden. Sweden always gets credit for doing things right, but they have not shut down restaurants and businesses at all.
Yeah.
And it's like they're playing...
Russian roulette.
Yeah. It's like we're all engaged in a grand experiment to see what works and what doesn't, but the signs point to, that seems really foolish.
Yeah. And, I think that, it's kind of like what you said. I think that the U.S. and most countries should have been ready, because my question is, where does all the taxpayers' money go? Well, what we do know is the economy sure won't be hurting because people love toilet paper.
Buying lots of toilet paper.
Flour, yeast, pasta, and hand sanitizer. Because I tell you, when we go to the grocery store, the first time we went to the grocery store was right when the city shut down, and we're in Toronto, Canada, and toilet paper was out, just like across the board. Just like in the news, they were saying in the U.S. they were out, Japan they were going crazy, and here in Canada they went crazy too, so they were out of toilet paper. But now, you can get it, it's restocked. And matter of fact, I think actually a week later you could find it, and it wasn't even an issue like in most countries. But also, this is the craziest thing. Flour that you bake with is gone. It's
Everybody's making bread and cakes.
Yes, everybody must be eating bread and cakes and pastries. And there was no yeast. Because we were gonna make homemade pizzas and things like that. So I started making it without yeast shit because that's something that most people don't have in their cabinets anyway. So yeah, so they're out of yeast. Pasta is all gone. So it's like everybody went crazy for pasta. Even the cups of noodles and the top ramen, that shit is all gone. And the hand sanitizer. We lucked out because we normally buy it anyway. So we already had some in the house and had enough to be able to last us. But whenever we go shopping, since the shutdown, it's like there is no hand sanitizer whatsoever. So
never.
So shit, we made some makeshift shit. We bought some alcohol, got some rubs, and that's what we're using too.
You've heard us talk before about how everything is an illusion and fake.
Yes.
And one of the examples of that is that companies are operating paycheck to paycheck. And I'm not talking about small businesses, which you'd probably expect. No, right. I'm talking about major, huge corporations.
Yes.
That talk about the veil being unveiled, pulled back. They're operating paycheck to paycheck in many cases.
Yeah, it's like they don't even have enough money to last them.
To pay the rent.
To pay the rent or to pay the employees or to even just, go back into production. This is like a life or death situation for them. So it's amazing that these companies, we won't mention any names, but these major companies that we thought were doing so well because they taunted, oh, we're Fortune 500, we're this and that. Well, that might be on paper, but that's not in probably cash funds. So when it all boils down to it, everybody is just really living paycheck to paycheck. Moving on. So it's hard to for me. It's hard to trust the media when there's no one who looks like me in the news. The media doesn't represent the country, state, or city as people because in the news, most people don't look like me. And you see Molly and little Patrick and, little Stevie, they're outside and they're with their mommies and they're asking questions. When is the coronavirus going to be over? When is this going to be over? When can I go play with my friends? But within the news media, I don't see any kids represented that look like me, black. I don't see any Asian kids being asked those questions. So, it really is disturbing because, for one thing, you're hearing about the numbers who are dying, but you're not hearing about it within my community. So it makes you wonder, well, what about me?
Of course, you're focusing on television media, mm-hmm. and I give less credence to TV because the TV news tends to sensationalize things, and everything is all negative. But if you choose your sources carefully, I prefer print media. Sources like the New York Times and the Washington Post are very reliable. So New Yorker. So those are the places I go to for news. That's my preference.
Yeah, and I typically go to YouTube. I'll look at, some credible people like D.L. Hughley. You should definitely watch him. Oh my God. And Karen Hunter, she's really good to listen to. And there's a couple of other folks who are doing a great job on
Dionne Warwick.
She's only trying to find out how to get back to San Jose. And since the border's closed, she ain't going to be going nowhere.
She's stuck
just like
in
the
France.
rest of us. So, anyway, that's about it on my front on that. So, what do you got to say next?
What I've learned is how much I enjoy virtual worlds. And what I'm talking about is trying to entertain myself with things besides reading and the computer and watching TV. I've found some video games that I like where you build cities, and those worlds are really complex, and you can engage in strategies, and they're fun, and they really provide me a lot of entertainment, and they reduce my stress. So I've found that how much I've really enjoyed those, and the little miniature houses that you build on the street. I love it.
I think there's two games that I think that he wants to recommend. I think it's either or adapt or retip? Are those games?
No one's going to get that.
So this is and or was an opportunity for us to restart, refresh, and reboot. I think that speaking of that, what I just talked about, I think that this is a time to find ourselves. You know,
I found myself in that little miniature world.
and I was thinking about, like I said, probably just getting a game console and playing some games. You know, though I'm also a game developer on the side, and I started developing some games, and I'm not even interested in that.
So what you're saying is that when you found yourself, you found out that you were Ms. Pac-Man.
No, I think that when you found out about your little miniature worlds, that you were trying to be Cubert.
I love Cubert! And Cubert is so cute. I love the graphics and the colors. That was a fun game.
I think I'm going to get that game retip, though. Go ahead.
Some people don't listen when it comes to a pandemic, when they're ordered to stay home or only be out to do essential things. You've probably seen this on the news too. But some people have no respect for others, and they're willing to put people at risk by deliberately coughing or spitting on food, spitting on elevator buttons. It brings out, it brings out both the worst and the best in people, but this is when it definitely brings out the worst. And then, to top it off, some churches and religious groups are willing to put their congregations at harm by keeping churches open despite social distancing. And I'm not talking about the drive-in church service where people drive in with their cars. I'm talking about where they open up their doors and everyone comes and sits in the pews. That is madness, and they're putting everybody at risk.
Yeah, so I would not even take stock in any of that shit because I am not going anywhere. If I was working a regular job and had to go to an office and they were trying to open up, trying to get back to normal like somebody in the U.S. is trying to do, I would be like, I'm not going back to work because they're putting my life at risk. We don't know when this is going to stop. You don't know who's coming into work, who's sick. They're not doing testing of any sort.
There's not enough testing.
Yeah, so it's like, why would you do that? We need to ride this shit out. Moving on. So, with all that being said, I've been feeling like we as a people are more divided than ever. Going back to what I was saying about the healthcare situation, there's African discrimination going on in Asia, in China. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but China is now reversing the role and saying that Africans brought in the virus and they don't want them to shop in stores. They kick them out of their apartments. And in China, it's different because they pay their lease like 6 months in advance and sometimes a year in advance. So, and most of them are students. So they have been kicked out of their apartments. They can't get back in. They can't get their money back. And the little bit of money that they have in their pockets, they're living on the street because shelters won't take them. They can't even go to McDonald's and get food. They are keeping them out of stuff like that. So, yeah, it's really getting crazy.
It hurts my heart more than anything just to see people make the same mistakes over and over and over with scapegoating other people and being cruel.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and then, to top it off, Asians didn't like when Trump said that this was a China virus or Chinese virus or Asian virus. But yet in China, they're doing the same thing to black people, trying to push it on them. Only because 2 Africans tested positive. And I think one of them tried to run out of the hospital because I think he was scared or something like that for what would happen. So then they put the scapegoat on the resurgence of it on these 2 black African men and trying to say that they brought it into the country, but they were already living there. How can you bring it in if you were already living there and it started in a country, in a city that was in your country? So anyway, we just all need to what did what's his name say? The one,
Ooh.
Rodney
Allen Rippey?
I forgot what his name was. Rodney King. So, can't we just all get along?
Well, I miss going out to cafes. I really do. I love sitting down with a cup of coffee, a pastry, and reading material. But I've learned that I don't need to spend a lot of money on dining out or entertainment.
Yes.
We can cook homemade meals based on popular restaurants right here at home.
And what we do is everyone who knows us knows that we love to eat out. When people come and visit us, we take them
we love to eat.
Yes, we love to eat, and we take them to some really nice restaurants. So what we do is we go online to some of our favorite restaurants that have closed. We look at the menu of what we would typically order, and that's what I try to make at home.
Of course, he's better at that than I am. I can't improvise dishes, which he can do. If I have a recipe, I can follow it. But he'll look at the dish, figure out what it's made with, and then be able to recreate it. Yeah. That is true artistry.
So the bottom line is, it appears no one knows what the hell is going on.
Ain't that the truth? And
let me explain my reasoning. There's a lot of speculation, inconsistencies, talking points, which I hate, and things that appear to be taken from movie scenes. So let me just give you one movie, and I will promote it like hell, because when I first saw it, I didn't know anything about it. Contagion. Ooh, that movie is on point. Even though it's about another virus,
fictional.
It's fictional, but this is the exact same shit that is going on. And when I watched the movie, we were watching it, and I said, this sounds like a talking point from this movie. Like, they all watched the movie and they said, okay, kiddo, let's run with that. Okay, this is what we're going to do with this situation.
I think they actually used the term social distancing in the movie.
Yeah, I think that everything is being taken from that movie, which is so scary. It's like, oh my goodness, like literal. So anyway, that movie was done years prior
2011.
to 2011 or 2012. Prior to what's happening, and it's like spot on. Another thing that's scary is that though, then governments and scientists, it's like they're changing their tunes. Weeks before, oh, there's no need to wear a mask, don't worry about it. And then a few weeks later, oh, we suggest that you guys wear a mask. It's not mandatory, but we suggest that you wear a mask. Well, when you start changing your tune, now I'm fucking confused. I'm confused.
You know what it does is it sows uncertainty, so you don't know what is real and what's not.
Right.
When they keep changing their advice. And I know that there's a lot they don't know, and they're trying to figure things out on the fly too.
Right.
But they talk to us like they know.
Right.
And it misleads and confuses us when they say one thing one week, and then the next week they're saying something completely different. So I wish we had a little snack to eat with our wine. How come you didn't put out any snacks?
Because you didn't already had enough snacks.
When?
Anyway, moving on. Cheers. So this was a long one. But it's game time. It's game time. Today's game is called Dance Man. You have to guess the name of the song with letters.
No, the name of the dance.
The game of the dance with the letters. And if the player...
Within 30 seconds.
Yes. And if the player does not guess right, then they have to interpret what the dance is.
Whether they know it or not.
Yes.
Okay, so this is 4 letters. Should be easy.
Okay. Here we go. C.
No.
A.
No.
E.
No.
I.
No.
P.
No.
T.
No.
L.
No.
M.
No. Gotta hurry. No.
O.
No.
Oh my god. W.
No.
Y.
No.
H. Oh! Oh no.
This dance dance is called the frog.
I don't even know what that is.
It was a dance from the 60s.
Six letters.
Okay.
It has a hyphen in it. Here we go.
R.
No.
O.
No.
A.
Yes.
E.
No.
I.
No.
P.
Yes.
Show it to the camera too. Y.
No.
L.
No.
M.
No.
I'm sure I've never heard of
Wait
it.
a minute.
Oh, the Pac-Man!
T.
Yes. Off to a good start.
R.
Yes.
A.
Yes.
The Terrasian.
No.
The Tarantine.
You are getting close.
Oh.
The Tarantella.
Oh. I wouldn't know that dance.
That was a 16th century dance, I think, that was inspired by tarantulas. R.
Yes.
A. O.
No.
E. T.
No.
F.
No.
Z.
No.
S.
No. Oh.
The Running Man.
The Running Man.
6 words.
Okay.
I mean 6 letters.
Here we go. R.
No.
A. N. The Nana?
No.
Nene?
Yes! Oh God, I can't. I thought you wouldn't get that one. Very good. You don't have
So
to do
give
the
me
name.
a check. Give me a check.
S.
No.
A.
No.
E.
Yes.
T.
Yes.
The H.
Yes.
S. No.
No.
W.
Yes.
I.
No.
O.
Yes.
The work.
No.
The wonk.
No.
The. What the hell?
The worm.
Oh.
Look out for a trick.
2 words, 5 and 5.
Okay. T.
No.
S.
No.
R.
No.
O. A.
No.
Oh! Oh! The hokey pokey!
Yes, and you didn't get it in time, so you're gonna have to dance it. But before we go, here is our feel good of the week.
People are finding new ways to socialize, be it Zoom, Skype, or some other platform out there.
That's right, they're finding ways to stay connected during this time of crisis.
You know what? I wish I had invested in Zoom, but I didn't know what the hell it was.
No, I didn't either. But you know, if you're going to use it, beware of Zoom crashers.
You know, I didn't say I was going to use it. I just said I was going to invest.
Okay.
But could you imagine if the ladies from Sex and the City was using Zoom to have a Cosmo party?
Oh, a virtual Cosmo party. I'm in.
Now, that would be a Zoom party I would want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Just to hear.
Oh my God, that is not a tick. What is it?
Oh!
I remember that. I remember that scene. Oh, if you want to see behind-the-scenes footage from our show, be sure and check out our Instagram account.
And if you'd like to help support the show, be sure to check out our Back Talk merch. Links are in the description box below.
And then take a selfie wearing a hole in the merchandise.
Oh yeah, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment for this video.
Hashtag BackTalk.
Well, that's it for this week. Be sure to tune in next time. And remember...
Always have an opinion.
Laugh. Whoa.
And don't be afraid to backtalk. Cheers.